everyone. Welcome back. This is another early morning stream. It's not actually early, it's 11 a.m. right now. Today I want to try TanStack, specifically TanStack router. So if there is something that seems interesting to you, hang out on the stream with me as we try to figure out what the fuck is this thing called TanStack and the TanStack router specifically. Let me see if I can play music. Whenever people start coming, I'll reduce the volume of the music so that you guys can hear me talk. But for now, since there's nobody on the stream, I can take the liberty of listening to some music while I code, because that's interesting, and I like doing that. I hope the volume is not too loud. It is too loud. This is good enough. Can I see how it sounds on the stream? Okay. Sounds to me as if things are looking good, except that I would like to increase my volume a bit because I sound a little low. On the input capture, increase that to something like 10 decibels, and that's it. Okay. Alright, I promise this is the last thing I did. Now we can continue and focus on TanStack. So for those of you who don't know, welcome. I also don't know what TanStack is. I mean, I have an idea, but I'm not fully sure. So, TanStack is high quality open source software for web developers. It has a bunch of stuff that you can use. Basically, it's a fully web development related collection of tools. So there's a TanStack start command that you can use that will create a boilerplate for your app using server-side rendering, router, and a bunch of cool stuff. A mix of between Next.js and React. It's powered by Nitro and Vite, which is super cool because Vite is the best way to ship your apps right now. Gone are the days of Webpack. There is TanStack router, which is similar to React router, but it's also different because TanStack router is type safe. So we're gonna try and say what this actually means, what it means to be type safe. And then there are, of course, other stuff that you can use. This is okay, this is interesting, but let's... So yeah, basically we're gonna try and understand. Basically what we want to do here is we want to see how TanStack router works. So we are going to create a simple application using TanStack router, and we are going to explore all the different things you can do with TanStack router. I'm gonna turn off the music. You know what, I have an idea. If I speak slowly and more coherently, I can take this stream and convert it into a video. So let me try and do that. Okay. So hello everyone. TanStack. It's a high quality open source software for web developers. It is a collection of tools, open source libraries that you can use if you're a web development engineer to do a bunch of different stuff. There is a TanStack command, there's a TanStack start command, there is TanStack router, which is a type safe routing for React applications. I don't really know what that means, so we're gonna together try to figure out what type safe routing actually means, and this is what we'll be focusing on. TanStack start right now is in beta, so I don't know if it's completely stable and we should be using it or not. However, TanStack router, that is fully ready to be shipped. TanStack router is not in beta and it's ready to be shipped. So let's try to use TanStack router, create a basic application using it. Here's the get started page. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see clearly. TanStack router is a router for building React applications. Some of its features include 100% infer TypeScript, 100% infer TypeScript support, type safe navigation, nested routing, and layout routes. Okay, this is built in SSWR, so we can run server side rendering and server functions. We also have client side data caches. I don't know what that means. We're gonna try to figure that out. Okay, why you should choose TanStack router over any other router? In case you don't know, something else that you can probably choose is React router. React router is also a way to create routing in your web apps, React web apps specifically, and it's pretty cool. Like a lot of people use it. I've been using it for most of my life in most of the things that I do. I Then there is of course Next.js routing. I don't know what I clicked, but how do I close this? Okay, yeah, and then there is of course Next.js router, which is file-based routing, where you create directories that directly represent your URL. So that's also cool, but we're not talking about React router or Next.js. We're talking about TanStack router today. Why you should choose TanStack router over any other router? If you're using Next.js, it's a de facto framework for starting a new React project, laser focused performance, but not the expense of feeling overwhelming and sometimes bloated. I do agree. Then there is React router, which is also super cool, but there is no type safety in React router, which they are selling in TanStack router. So let's see if that's good. Does that mean TanStack router is a framework? No, it's not a framework. It's just a solution to do routing in your React apps. And we are also going to support tools like Nitro and Vite. I am getting a call. Just a sec. हाँ पापा. हेलो. हाँ पापा. बोलो. I'm getting a call from my papa. Let me quickly talk to him. Okay, he'll call back whenever he can. But where was I? So we were talking about TanStack router and how it's better than React router. हाँ पापा. कुछ नहीं, काम कर रहे हैं क्या वो? हाँ 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 ठीक है, अभी हम डाल दे रहे फिर. ठीक है, हाँ डाल रहे 1 सेकंड में. ओके. हाँ 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 ठीक है, नहीं बताएंगे. ओके. This is interesting. Okay, now I promise there won't be any distraction. So, TanStack router is currently only compatible with React and React DOM. If you'd like to contribute to React Native adapter, please reach out to us, which basically means I can't use TanStack router in a React Native project, but that's okay. I either way don't really do React Native anymore. You can install TanStack router with any npm package manager like this. It's funny how they support Burn and Dino also. It's not funny, it's actually good. There's a quick start guide if you're feeling impatient and prefer to skip all of our wonderful documentation. Here's a bare minimum to get going with TanStack router using both file-based route generation and code-based route generation. That's beautiful. So if you want to create your first TanStack router project, you have to follow the prompts after doing any of this command. You can also do a manual setup, which I'm not going to go into, because why would you do a manual setup when there's a way to do automated setup. So of course I'm not going to try and do a manual setup. If you're not using Wait, you can check out the TanStack router CLI guide for more info. Again, why would you not be using Wait? Anyways, I want to see if I can directly get their code, like a basic project, and then we're going to try and explore the project and see how things look. So there's a quick start file-based guide, there's a code-based guide. File-based is basically you have routes depending on the file directly represents the routes. There's a code-based where you can keep the file wherever the fuck you want, but you can have the router like this. You can create a route and then pass in the component. This is how I used to do things back when I used to work with React Native, because there I used to have screens, and then I would pass my screens as component in my router to create a route, and then I'll create a sort of a object that will map the route to the URL. But that thing is just not interesting anymore. So we're gonna try and do a file-based. But there's a lot of examples here. Examples of quick start, a basic plus React query. Don't want to use that. Basic plus server-side rendering. Super cool. Love this thing. I want to try this. There is kitchen sink. I don't know what that means. I don't know what kitchen sink actually means. So, but okay, let's see. So there is, in kitchen sink you have component, you have hooks, you have routes. This folder is not in the URL. There is routes, and oh shit, there's a lot of routes. This looks pretty cool. I want to try the kitchen sink example, to be honest, but let's see what else we have. Authenticating routes. Is there authentication plus SSR plus basic? I don't know. Let's just try basic plus SSR file based. Okay, I'm gonna go to GitHub and oh, okay. So do I need to install the entire thing, or can I get the code directly? I want to get an example of basic plus SSR, but I don't want to. I don't know. Is there any? Let's just download this entire repo. Fully type safe router for React. Pretty cool. I'm sure there must be a way to just get one example working, because that'll be very stupid to download the entire repo and then try to do it. Even though it's very much possible, there is TRPC also, which is pretty cool, because then you can have your server running in the same monorepo and doing all the fun stuff that you do with a server. But yeah, I wanna try out this one, but let's click here. If we can get the code from StackBlitz directly. Okay, this seems very easy to me, to be honest. It looks very easy. I can create one, but I won't do that. I'll just go here and grab the code. Just git clone. Let me just zoom in real quick, because I don't know if you can see things clearly. We're gonna go to router, and then I want to open VS Code. Alright, let's use cursor. Why not? I'm gonna open a new window here. Let me close this down. Let's see where our project is. Router, examples, React, authenticated routes. There's an authenticated routes example. I'm gonna try that because I want to try authentication using TanStack router. So let's try this one. This is my code editor of choice. It's cursor AI. Okay, so this is authenticated routes example directly taken from their repository. This one. So first let's do sudo npm. I have to do sudo. If you're following along, you don't really need to do sudo because normally you wouldn't have to give the root user permissions to your npm command. I just have to do that, unfortunately, because of the way I've set up things in my laptop. Probably it would have been a good idea to change that. I never just could or decided to do that. So anyways, you install everything. Let's check out our package.json in the meantime. You have the dev command, which will start the dev server. You have the start command, you have the build command. You can use these three to start the server once you have built the stuff, but for now let's just try the dev command. Port 3000. Let's go here. Let's open it in this only. Alright, so this is just an example of how to use authenticated routes with TanStack router. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is not an example of how you would write a production level authentication system. You'll need to take concept and pattern used in this example and adapt then to work with your authentication flow for your app. You're currently on the index route of the authenticated route. You can try going through these options. Go to the public login page. Okay. Go to the auth only dashboard. You need to log in for that, and go to auth only invoices page. You'll need to log in for that. Let's log in. Tarat login. Now that we have logged in, I want to hide this real quick. Hi Tarat, you're currently on the dashboard route. This route content is only visible to authenticated users. There's a super cool dashboard for invoices, and then of course a logout, which you can do, and then you'll be navigated back to the route. So let's go and jump into the code and try to understand how everything works here. Straight up I can see there's a source folder, there are routes. Inside of routes folder there's a auth folder which stores the authentication in local storage. So they're trying to simulate it. There is route.gen.ts. This is a weird folder. Okay, this was automatically generated, so we don't need to touch this. If I'll take a look at this, it's basically a collection of all the routes. So and we have the main where we have a create router. We provided the route tree, which is imported from route tree.gen, which was automatically generated. So I'm assuming what I'll have to do is create a file in the routes folder, and then based on that I'll be able to automatically get my route inside of the create router here because of the way things are set up. So that's cool. Default preload intent, which is if false routes will not be preloaded by default in any way. If intent routes will be preloaded by default when the user hovers over a link or a touch start event is detected on the link. Okay, so they're doing prefetching, which is super cool, which will make your app really fast if you're a Next.js developer. Scroll restoration true, that's okay. There's a context you can provide to the router. This will be set after we wrap the app in auth provider auth context, because we're doing authentication here. Register things for type safety, you do this. Okay, there's inner app, there is the main app, and there is the root element which contains the main app. The main app just has a auth provider that will wrap the inner app. The inner app uses the auth provider, and that's it. It just gives you the router context, which is the auth. This route provider you're importing from TanStack React router, you're giving it the router, and you're giving it the context, which is automatically defined. Okay, got it. So now I understand a few things at least. Okay, that makes sense. With that being said, you have a auth route here. No, this is not a route, this is a folder, auth folder. which basically defines a context, a React context. There's a bunch of functions. There's of course the main function that is called auth provider, which is a React provider, and then it basically checks if the user is authenticated. So you get the user from local storage. If it is not authenticated, then here, this is the login code, this is the logout code, and right here you just provide whatever route you have, and you provide the value also. Okay, use auth is checking if we have the authentication or done or not. So now we understand two things. Let's try to see what do we have here. This is just a slave function, and these are all my routes. Inside of my routes, I have the index function, which is the home component. Home component, the way you define components is you import create file route, sorry, and then you give your component there, and then you can define the component like this. So I'm assuming that if I take things here, okay, all right, welcome to this example. Yep, this is the home page right here, and then everything else, this is the auth pages. These are like the auth pages. This is the root page. TanStack router dev tools. I don't know what this is actually. Wait, create route with context, component outlet, initial is open, false. I don't really know what this page is, to be honest, but we'll figure that out. Okay, wait. So these are the auth routes. This is the login route. I want to try and see if I can, what happens when I go to the login page. The route is login, and if I log in, then the URL is dashboard. So this auth dot dashboard, okay, the file route is underscore auth slash dashboard. How does it, okay, and here you're saying that you have to use auth. Okay, where am I deciding? This is the slash underscore auth. What happens if I go here? Okay, this is not found. Great. So there's something that's been going on here. Okay, I don't really know what that is, but there's something that's been going on here. Before loading this page, if context dot auth dot is authenticated is false, then we redirect to login. And if that is not the case, then this is the logout. Okay, authenticated route. This route is content only visible. Oh, and then you have link to dashboard and invoices and logout, which are like hidden by default. You can't see them unless you are logged in, because this is the auth layout. So yeah, okay, that's cool. Makes sense. Cool. I still don't understand how a URL like login, or let's say dashboard, how this is resolving to the correct URL. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a search for dashboard. This auth dashboard route, auth dashboard import dot update, id dashboard, path dashboard, and get parent route to be auth route. Oh, okay. So say if I create something like auth.testing.tsx, and that's it. If this is my testing route, and I go to auth, and here what I'll do is I'm gonna use link to add testing here, and this would be testing I'm not gonna do this. Actually, I just needed this link. I copy pasted the wrong thing. I want to go to testing. Alright, so now can I go to testing? I can. Okay, this is my testing route. But this is now an authenticated route because I've used underscore auth here. And I've put it inside of the auth layout, which I'm using here in my underscore auth context. So if I'm logged in, can I go to login again? You are currently under, okay, you'll be redirected. Because here, if you're logged in, then redirect to the fallback. Great. This is okay, this is great. Okay, now what I want to understand is if all of this is client side or server side. I'm gonna log out first and let's use the dev tools to see what's happening. On the first load, we're getting a lot of stuff. Let's go to the public login page. Okay, invoices, testing, dashboard. You see here on the bottom, I'm trying to understand if we're actually making any request or not, and we're not. So can I do, if I directly go here, can I do something like const is loading and like that, and I want to do this. Great. And I want to use React here. With that being said, okay, so it does load. Okay, that's great. So I can use the client side stuff on this component directly. And I'm assuming if I turn off the JavaScript, let's see if I do, what will happen if I do that. I am here, I want to do Control Shift. Gosh, I keep messing up the shortcuts when I'm using this new browser that I'm using. What do I guess it was Command Shift B only, but it's doing something else. I guess it only works in Chrome. Anyways, request, dashboard, invoices, testing. Okay, so this is cool. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create a new route. New route.tsx. This is my new route. It doesn't have to be a logged. You don't really need to log in for this route because it's a new route. What happens if I create a folder, something, and I create another one, some route.tsx. I really like how it's automatically writing the code when I'm creating the files, because that's super cool. Okay, that's cool. So basically I can do the file-based routing. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is pretty cool that I can still do the similar kind of routing. And if I'm inside of a folder, can I do like the entire folder to follow the auth? Let's see. I'm being a little too optimistic here, trying stuff that isn't necessarily. So if I reload, it says that on message listener went out of scope. This is interesting. I don't know what that is supposed to mean, but so I can't do this, I guess, which is okay. I understand. Yes, you do have to do this. Something slash some route is where we are right now. This works. Okay. In our root, this is the root. We have an outlet. I don't know what outlets are. So let me try and see what is an outlet. The outlet component is used in routing to render the next child route of a parent route. It does not accept any props and can be rendered anywhere within a route components tree. If there is no matching child route, the outlet will render null. Here's a basic example of how you might use the outlet component in React application using TanStack React Router. So you create a root component like this, import create route, root route, you put the root component and you give it an outlet. Okay, in this example, the root component renders a title and an outlet. The outlet is the placeholder where the child route will be rendered when they match the current route. If no child route matches, nothing will be placed in the rendered place. Okay, I mean, this is something new. We did not have anything like outlet earlier, or at least it's the first time I'm checking out outlet. This is a root route and you give it the context, the auth context. And then you have TanStack router dev tools. This is also interesting. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna try to get a summary of this. To use TanStack router dev tool in your React application, you first need to install the package. Once installed, you can import and use TanStack router dev tools in your application. It is recommended to place it as high in your component tree as possible. What does it do? Dev tools in your application. The fuck do you mean? Are you saying if I don't use this, I can't use DevTools? Wow. Create your own queries, bro. What do you mean when you say that I can create my own queries? I didn't understand you. I'm sorry. Okay. Initially is open false. What the fuck is this? Let's set it up to true and let's see if I see any difference. Oh my god, this is so cool. I've never seen something like this. It's pretty cool. Basically, there's a thing called TanStack router dev tools that you can use, and it's kind of like a dev tool. You get the states, the options, and there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. Oh, and I can see all my routes. Yeah, this is so cool. I've never seen something like this. So basically, they have their own version of dev tools that is specifically designed for TanStack router. I'm gonna go back to dashboard to see how stuff looks from here. So I'm in the root URL here. This is a root component that I'm seeing right now, and it's matching the root URL. I can see all other paths that I have. There is a auth for dashboard, invoices, invoice ID. There's a testing route that is also inside of the auth. Then there's a route called something which I just created for no reason at all. And this is looking very different than how auth is looking. So I wonder if I do something like, I am also writing TanStack, right? I'm also using TanStack. Super cool. I have never tried TanStack. TanStack.first.tsx. I never tried TanStack before. This is my first time, and I'm kind of excited, to be honest. I added a new route here, and I want to see how this looks. Okay, I did TanStack.first, which I guess is giving me some sort of an error. So I want to see what the error is. In which project you're going to use it? I'm trying to understand how this works, first of all. But if you want to ask me what project am I going to be using this for? Wait, why am I getting this error? Is not assignable to parameter of type key or file route by path. I guess I need to define __ TanStack.tsx. Is that true? Or maybe I can't have TanStack as a name. Let me see. I'm sorry, I'll get back to your question in a second. You're saying it's easy. I'm glad you find it easy. I'm happy for you. Test.first. I want to try test. And I also want to try _test.tsx. Well, you can use it in any project. Yes, sir, you're right. If you want to know what project I'm going to be using it in, Basically, there's this project of mine. It's called OOUX mapping tool. Hello, I remember you. I remember Shareflow. I remember you were there on my last stream. Hello, how are you? Yes, so there's this project of mine that I'm working on. This is how it looks right now. uh, I mean, it looks much better. I have forced dark mode on my project and it's not actually made in dark mode, and that's why it's looking slightly weirder. So let me try and show you the thing in Chrome. Here. So this is a project that I wanna rebuild. This is something, it's a object-oriented UX prototyping tool. I'll talk about it whenever I'll code this on stream, which I will definitely do. I have an elaborate plan of rebuilding this entire thing and adding a bunch of features on this project, but I'm going to rebuild it in probably TanStack. Let's see. I have not fully decided yet. Currently it was built in Next.js. I was still using Vite, so that's a plus. But yeah, basically you have cards and all, and you can create attributes and stuff inside of your cards and then connect them. And then yeah, the thing that I want to do here is basically I want to add three things. I want to add live collaboration on this app so that multiple users can come in and collaborate on it. And to do that, I'm still trying to figure out if I want to use like socket and write all the things from scratch, or if I want to use a library. I was exploring a bunch of different libraries offline yesterday, couldn't make up my mind, so we'll probably do a stream trying to figure out how collaboration works. There is authentication that I need to add on this app, which I'm still not sure if I want to use NextAuth or I want to use a provider like Clerk or something. I've seen that if you go to the TanStack website, they talk about Clerk somewhere. Clerk. They do talk about Clerk somewhere. Let me see. Where was it? Probably here. They talk about Clerk. Clerk and TanStack are partnering to elevate your application security and user experience. Clerk is basically a third-party service that will allow you to add authentication to your apps. They'll manage all the stuff like the user data that you might need, authentication of course, managing your access tokens, refresh tokens, and all of that stuff. So Clerk is pretty cool. I want to see if I want to use Clerk to do authentication in that app. So collaboration, authentication, and then rebuilding the entire UI. The UI is currently built using Spectrum Web Components. I'm still going to be using Spectrum Web Components only, but I want to figure out a better way to do that because currently they are not type safe. Yes, React 19 supports using web components directly, but it's not type safe. So I want to figure out if I can make them type safe and then use that. But yeah, that's like a future plan. I'm gonna do all of that on the stream zone, one of my stream. I'm trying to stream more often than not, but I'm working on chat app, adding messages, voice, video call, and audio, and any file message. WebSocket is good. I know WebSocket is great. I've done a lot of stuff with WebSocket. I remember this project of mine. I'm gonna show you. This is a private project. I did not, but still, I'm never going to use Clerk. Data is better in my DB. It's up to you. I agree to you. If you think about it, Clerk is a third-party service. But for me personally, I am not worried about the data as much as I'm worried about the speed of coding. I want something that can be done quickly in a week because I don't have a lot of time. You see, it's 11:44 a.m. I only have 15-20 minutes left before I have to end the stream and then focus on my work. I'm a full-time engineer, so I only have limited time to do stuff. But that's okay. I was showing you this project. Let me show you what it's called. It's called Astu. This one here. This is like a React Native app. I used to work like 4 years ago in React Native, and in this app I used a lot of WebSockets, and it's very similar to what you're talking about right now. messages, voice, video call, audio, any file, and all that stuff. All of it is implemented here. This is a server. I created a socket server. So, and it's crazy. This is a file for chat, and it has a lot of code, like 600 lines of code, I remember. Wow, 700 lines of code just to set up authentication. Sorry, just to set up chat. Like users can create rooms, get into the room, and then talk, like send messages and all that, leave rooms and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, I like socket. I've done a lot of socket programming also, like this, the more traditional way of doing socket programming. But I'm still trying to figure out if I want to use sockets for this project, the one that I showed you earlier, because that would be a little more complex. It would be very similar to something like, let's say, FigJam. If you've used Figma or FigJam, where there's live collaboration, there are cards, and there's a lot of stuff. Whenever you have a canvas like this, see, you have a canvas here. In case of a canvas, there's going to be a lot of situations where you'll have to do conflict resolution, which you probably won't need in a chat app. If you're making a chat app using socket, it's easy to do because you don't really need to do conflict resolution as much as you would do in a app like this, where you have the entire canvas where people can do a lot of things. Because here multiple people can end up doing the same thing, and then there'll be a conflict on the server as to what would be the final output. And that's why trying to do all the conflict resolution on your end is kind of complicated. So I was thinking of using something like, there's this thing called YJS. Was it YJS? Yes. So basically YJS allows you to build collaborative softwares. It manages all the conflict resolution and all those stuff directly, so that's pretty cool. What is the best way of sending image? Store in cloud and then share a link and make it downloadable. It's subjective. It's subjective. The best way is very subjective. It depends on how many images and what's the, because I go for web. So for group WebSocket is better. Yes, for chat applications and all those stuff, you can do WebSockets and implement everything from scratch. It's a great idea. You'll get to learn a lot. But for stuff like this, where you have an entire canvas, it gets pretty complicated real quick. I don't want to spend like months trying to implement something from scratch when I can directly use it. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea. If you something you want to learn all this stuff, then you should definitely try doing that. You'll learn so much about socket programming if you implement a live collaborative application which has canvas. Super cool. About sending image, store in cloud, and then share a link and make it downloadable. It's very subjective, I think. As much as I know, the basic idea of just having the image encoded and then sending it into something like a bucket, S3 bucket or something, and then, because that's really fast. I remember using S3 bucket in one of my projects. It's very fast. If you want to do anything related to image and store images or do anything related to images in general, I would highly suggest you go and check out S3 bucket. They are also serverless options you can try on the AWS itself, which will allow you to set up all of these things without having to write and manage a lot of code on your server. I think, yeah, I'm using, yeah. I think, the funny thing I've realized over the last few years, that I want to write and manage as less amount of code as I can, because that's when the projects that I'm working on actually shine the most. Like I'm able to make them faster, I'm able to make them more secure, reliable, and scalable, because I'm not writing a lot of code myself. I'm using the existing libraries, frameworks, and patterns from outside. Try doing that. Where was I? I'm liking the way TanStack looks right now. It was in localhost 3000. Okay. I'm liking the way TanStack looks right now. I can create these routes. I still am not fully sure how. Okay, got it. So you get this. I'm not fully sure what's the difference between having something like something slash some route, this one, versus this one. The hierarchy is different here. This all comes in the same line, but this is coming on a different line. Not really sure what's the reason. You can also invalidate queries in TanStack. I will get to that hopefully. If not today, then someday else. But yeah, I'm still trying the basic stuff of how things work. This is cool, but I don't fully understand what's the difference between these two things. Like creating a test and then test first .tsx versus having a folder and then inside of that folder you create the routes. Wait, I guess the reason, okay, no, wait, I think I get it. I get it now. Some other route. That was a stupid question probably. Yeah, I know. I mean, the difference is that you can still go to test. Yep, I can explain. Should I? Sure, I would love if you can tell me what's the difference. But yeah, between this and that. As much as I understand, you since there is no route called something, so this is basically just changing the URL, like adding something besides the URL. But you can't really set up context or anything and group those routes in that context. But you can do that if you have stuff like this. I am taking this parallel from auth, since in case of auth I had the auth context and then these routes will I group them into that. And similarly for test also I can do the same thing, but for something I doubt if I can do the same thing directly. Maybe I could be totally wrong, but that's okay. So this is pretty cool. While you're trying to explain that, I will go and see how these things work. Okay, so you have invoices, which is the base route, which gives you a list of all the invoices, and that list is being fetched. Oh, route.use loader data. Invoices await fetch invoices, and which is coming from /post, and here is the fetch invoices function. You fetch the invoices by making an API request. So I'm guessing this code is running on the server. So if I make a console log here, I should get the console here when I reload this. I don't see a console log here. I was hoping that the code that I just, okay, ensure invoices, it's still running on the client side. It's not this is not running on the server side. That's weird. So how do I write a server function then? Invoices. I thought this async function, which is the loader, I thought the loader is actually the function that runs on the server. I did not know it's okay. So now I've written a console log here in the loader function of the auth invoices route, and I'm gonna reload this real quick, and it's running and I'm getting the console in the browser, which basically means I'm making an API request from the browser. As you can see here, this is the request that I made. So I'm making the request from the client. So this is not a server-side function. How do I write a server? So how do I use server functions? TanStack router examples. Server. There was something called server. Sorry bro, I'm not good at just deleted it. Oh my god. You don't have to be so conscious. It's okay. You don't have to be so conscious. It's okay. I'm not good at explanation either. Look at me. I'm trying to figure out how to use something live on stream in front of 1 or 2 people, however many people who decide to watch me. I am not very good at explanation either. Don't worry. It's okay. So I was trying to figure out where's a server side. How do I run a server side function? There is server action. Is there a thing called server action? No, there is not. Is there a thing called server function? No, there is not. Why is there no server action type stuff? Thank you. I'm glad you think I'm good at explaining stuff. Data loading is a common concern for web application and is related to routing. This is what I was talking about. I'm going to figure out how to do data loading here. You may be familiar with cat server-side props. Yes, I am. Or loader from Remix. I did not use Remix ever. Beyond these normal expectations, TanStack goes above and beyond. Oh my god. And provides built-in SWR caching, a long-term in-memory caching layer for route loader. This means you can use TanStack router to both preload data for your routes or temporarily cache routes data for previously visited routes. Okay, so when I wait, where is the code? So this is the loader functions are called when a route match is loaded. They are called with a single parameter, which is an object containing many helpful properties. We'll go over these in a bit, but first let's look at an example of route loader function. This is a route slash post. This is a loader function fetch post. You have a abort controller, which is great. You can control if you want to end the event. There is the cause, I don't know what that means, and a bunch of preload, a boolean when the route is being preloaded instead of loaded. That's okay. So, and you can consume it using route.use loader data. Again, all of this is cool. I still don't know why that function is running on, if that function is running on the server or not. So let's try to do that. Let's try to see. Oh, you can set up a stale timeout also when the data needs to be refetched again. Okay, stale timeout. This should reload. There's so many things that you can do with this router. I'm loving it. This is so cool. React router seems like a kid now in front of this. Pass the fetch post function to the route context. What's this? Passing down global context to your router is great, but what if you want to provide context that is specific to a route? This is where the before load option comes in. The before load option is a function that runs right before attempting to load a route and receives the same parameter as a loader. And then why would you need it? Pass the fetch post function to the route context. So fetch post function you created here, pass the fetch post function to the, and you passed it to the loader, which can directly get the answer. Okay, and there is search params. Where the fuck is search params? Oh, you can validate those params and then you can set up search params directly, I'm assuming. Use search params. Is this a thing here? Can I do use search? No, I can't. Never mind. So let's go back here and try to understand how things are working. This was my invoice route. I'm still trying to figure out if the function fetch invoices is running on the server or not. You can also use on success on error, which will be called on if the fetch request is success or error. Yes, but what I'm trying to figure out is if the loader function is running on the server or not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask Claude. So I don't know if this function runs on the server or the client. And it might just be happening because I haven't created a build script here. Based on the code shown, this is a React router component using TanStack, and this code runs on both client and server if you're using a framework that supports server-side rendering. The TanStack router dev tool component specifically only runs on the client side. Oh, the root component itself with the outlet will run in both environments. During SSR, it will render on the server first. Yes, it's cursor. Then on the client side during hydration, and subsequently during client-side navigation, it will run on the client. You can verify this by adding console log to see where it executes. I'm gonna add a console log to my root, because why not? So TanStack router dev tools, this specifically runs on the client side and the outlet part can run anywhere. And similarly, I want to have the same thing here. Where was I? Invoices. inside of the loader I want to see this. Okay, great. So now let's go back to our code and let's go to the home page and let's check the console. The console says route rendering on client. So this is rendering on client. The root basic, sorry, where's that? Where is my, it's here. Where is that? TanStack dev tools. This one. So the root component is rendering on the on the client. I don't want to use this. Can I use something else? I want to remove. So I'll just remove this because I don't want this now anymore. So we don't have that, but it's still rendering on client. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye bye. Have fun. Yes, this is rendering on client, which is sad. I want to see why stuff is not rendering on server. Everything is rendering on client right now. I don't want the client side rendering here. So what do I do? Is there something in Vite config? Plugins, TanStack router Vite and React. Okay. Let's ask cursor. I used an example from their from their examples that they gave here, which was basic plus SSR file based. This was the example that I downloaded and I'm using right now. So I thought that they'll have the SSR running, but it's not true somehow. Or is it a different example? Oh, I'm using the authenticated routes example. I'm so sorry. Let's see what happens in a different example. So basically I have all the examples here. Let's try SSR, basic React query, basics SSR. What's this? Streaming file based. There is a quick start example, basic auth, basic RCS, clerk basic. Oh my god, they have an example of using clerk also. This is something I talked about just like 10 minutes ago, where I said I want to use clerk to do authentication in one of my projects. And the fact that they have an example of using clerk for a basic authentication project, that's pretty cool. But I just want to see, do we go and check the clerk basic? No, let's check the server side rendering example, because currently the app we had is totally rendered on the client side, and I don't like that so much. Not a huge fan of client side rendering unless you're making an app that requires a lot of stuff that happens specifically on the client. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this server. This was the authenticated routes example. I'm going to start this server. So first we need to do npm I. Again, just a fair note, you don't really need to use sudo. I do it because I have messed up my setup for npm, and that's on me. Okay, let's try to understand what all we have. We have run dev, which runs the node server. Okay, you have the build client, build server points, which is cool. If you go to the server.js, this is where most of the stuff happens. You create a server using create server, and you create an express server. I mean, this is interesting. I was not expecting an express server. At the root, you give it the origin. Oh, this is all Vite setup to render, to forcefully render everything on the server. That's very cool. Okay, I don't want to see that anymore. This is cool. This is my router. This is my entry to client. So I have the start client, and I'm providing the router. Router takes in the URLs from the routes, which is this. Entry server, what's this? This is a URL endpoint to entry point to the server. I don't fully understand why do we need both of them. Fetch polyfill for browsers that don't really have this support, I guess. There's my router, which uses create route, and you're preloading the URLs if you're hovering over the link. That's pretty cool. I need that. I have a website, like my personal website, and this is how it looks. It's currently made in Next.js, and I'm doing like a lot of optimization, server-side rendering, and a bunch of other things, trying to make it. अडोबी में काम नहीं करवा रही, सुबह सुबह स्ट्रीम कर रहे काम होता है. माई टीम सिट्स इन यूएस, ये तुम्हें पहले से पता है, फिर क्यों बकवास कर रहे हो. तो मेरा टाइमिंग 2 बजे से शुरू होता है जनरली, तो 2 बजे तक आई कैन डू वट एवर द फक आई वॉन्ट. Anyways, in this website I've done a lot of optimization, as in I am rendering a lot of things on the server, a lot of things on the client, and I'm trying to prefetch a lot of stuff. And that's why is website if you go to the website currently and just click on links and try to see how things look, you will realize that it's very fast. If I go to any link like projects, I'm gonna click 3, 2, 1. See, you automatically immediately get all the stuff. And if I click on something again, 1, 2, 3, you immediately get it. It's very fast. This website is very fast, and I'm not just saying it because it's my personal website. You can go to the performance tab and see that it's really fast. It's really fast. If I go to a URL and then I do something like lighthouse testing, for example, for performance, you'll see that it's very fast. Everything gets a perfect score. But I had to do a lot of hacking to make this work. I was using Next.js because again, Next.js is the cool thing or whatever. Now I'm considering shifting to TanStack router. We're getting 99 on performance and 100 on SEO, so that's really good. It's very fast, 0.4 seconds for first contentful paint, and there is some unused JavaScript that is coming from the extensions that I'm using, not from my website, so that's okay. Anyways, so this website that I made, it's very fast. Everything works right as you click on something, which is cool. But I have a feeling that I can improve the speed even further if I shift to something like TanStack routing. I don't know. Maybe these things where you can set up default preload to intent. You can do that in Next.js also basically, but you'll have to do a bunch of like a little bit of hacking to make this work, where if the user even hovers over a link, let me tell you what I mean. Wait, let me tell you what I meant. So say you hover over projects. As you hover over the projects, my website should automatically fetch everything that is inside of the projects. It's not doing that right now. If you go to the network tab right here, and I'm gonna reload. So this is the first reload, and now if I hover over say projects, wait, let the reload complete. Okay, now the reload is complete. If I hover over the project, you see there is no network request. There is no network request. The network request only happens when I click on one of those links. Say I clicked on projects. Now you got the request. So here you go. The projects are being fetched here. Similarly, if I hover over writing, nothing happens. But if I click, then I made a bunch of requests to fetch all the projects. Which is fine, which is still fine, because this website is really fast. It's very fast, and you can try it out for yourself. If you're on a desktop right now, you can try it out. It's very fast, everything is very smooth. But I think I can make it faster if I just do prefetching on hover. If I hover over the projects, imagine had I hovered over the project and already fetched everything, this could have been, I don't know if you'll notice it. If I do that, if you'll notice it on your laptop or computer, but it would definitely be faster. So I want to try this. Might have to rewrite the entire website in using TanStack router. We'll do that someday on stream, not right now. Right now, I want to see the server-side rendering part. So let's start the server. I've done npm run dev. I messed up the password. It's a very long password. Nobody will ever be able to guess it. It's literally just my name and my birthday. Uh, yeah, so I did npm run dev. So the server has started at port 3000, which is pretty cool. I go to port 3000 now and I will reload and see what do we see. Okay, I have a console warning. That is weird. I might fix that or just ignore it. So this is a home page. We have post here and error here. Oh, this. Okay, this page has 50% chance of throwing an error. This is post. Now I'm assuming all of the stuff that is happening here is server side rendered. So if I go to something like, oh my god, you see, okay, this is super cool. I'm so excited to show you this. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. So this is my console. I hover over a blog and it fetches the blog automatically as I'm hovering. See, it is fetching the post as I hovered. So what that means is if I click on something, it's there automatically, immediately. Like it doesn't even take 1 millisecond. It's already there in your browser because I fetched it as I was hovering through this. Super cool. I want to do this for my website and make it super fast. It's absolutely unnecessary. My website doesn't really have to be this fast, but I want to do that. Yeah, let's go to the network tab and see it's making all these requests as I hovered over these. That is pretty cool. That is super cool. Everything is being prefetched as I'm hovering. I'm making requests as I'm hovering over the things. And that's why it's very fast. See, it doesn't even take milliseconds to load because it's already there. Everything is already there. This is what I want. I really want to rebuild my website using TanStack. Anyways, to understand how all of this works is very simple. If you go to the router, we have a context which basically doesn't do anything. This is the juicy part. In the index, we just have welcome home, nothing else. This is the index component. If you go to, currently we are on the index, it just says welcome home. Of course, you have the post route, and I already showed you that this default preload intent. If I remove this, let's see what happens. Let's see if we understand things correctly or not. I'm gonna reload this once again, and now I'm gonna go to the post, and you see now I'm hovering over stuff but no request is being made in the network tab, and that's because we have removed the preload intent. And now it's still very fast because it's purely just text, but you can see there's like a very small delay because as I click I have to make a request to the server and then get the post, and that takes up like even if it takes like 30 milliseconds, that's time wasted. I can do default preload intent and everything looks very smooth here. So that's there. It's a post folder where I have post. I don't know why it changed color. I literally did not do anything. I have no idea why it changed color. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna again close it and reopen it because I don't like the light mode. Localhost 3000. Yeah, better. This is a post. In the index, you just have select a post, and then based on the post ID, you can. So this you see this loader is running here. So if I click on a post and go here, should be able to get a console log saying fetching post with ID 1, and this promise happens on the server, I'm assuming. Oh, this is a client side request because my client is making a request here, as you can see in the network tab. When I hover over, these are client side requests that are happening. Now my question is, can I run this without JavaScript? So let's go to Chrome 3000, inspect, console, JavaScript. I'm disabling JavaScript. Now I want to go to the post route, and you see it's now it's like The post route still works, which is great. Okay. Does it work if I click on a post? Do you think we'll be able to get a post? I hope so. I am here in the network tab. As I'm hovering over stuff, I don't see any request being made because we have disabled JavaScript. And if I click on something else again, I'm able to get the post, however, but I can't do the prefetching part because prefetching part happens on the client side because it happens on the hover interaction. But I'm able to get the blogs and everything because everything is server side rendered. So that is pretty cool. This is very cool. I like it. So even after disabling the JavaScript, my website works perfectly fine. And I'm very surprised that it works. JavaScript. Wait, I need to go to console. I need to do JavaScript enable. And now we're gonna go to post. And now you'll see if I go to the network tab, we're going to make request as I hover over stuff. This is cool. So this is JavaScript based. Okay. Got it. Got it. I'm running out of time. I'm gonna have to end the stream in just 10 minutes. So quickly, let's try to create a route, you and me together, just to solidify our understanding of TanStack router. What kind of route we wanna create? This is a home. I'm gonna close this. This is a home post error. It's very cool if you want to create a simple route. What is this? You have a post.tsx. This is a new file. This is a post route component and you have a link to all the posts and an outlet where you are displaying the post stuff or the stuff in the post. Okay, let's create a similar route. Let's try to create a blogs route and we'll follow the same structure as much as we can for the post. So this is my blogs route. Of course, I can go to /blogs. Hello blogs. That's pretty cool. Now just like post, I want to have a loader here because I want to fetch some stuff. So I'm gonna use loader to say fetch blogs. A promise, fetch some stuff. I'll do this. I'm gonna do blog type and I'll remove this. So I have used a loader that does some fetching part. Ideally what you would want to do is you would, let's say, have a utils folder. Inside of that you can have something like blogs API .ts. Not saying this is like the perfect thing, but get blogs, get them from here, and then you can, inside of the blogs, you can, inside of your, where is my blogs now? This is the blogs. Inside of your blogs you can, did I copy paste it in the index? Oh my god, I didn't even realize that I copy pasted this stuff in the index instead of blogs. I am lost. Yes, might be completely lost. So just gonna do this real quick. I will do the component to be this, set up this to be blogs, and remove this part. Now everything should look fine. I want to import get blogs from the API, and the way you would do this is you would remove this, you would remove all of this, and you would probably also remove this, and you just say const blogs and just return the blogs. And in here, let's say you get the blogs like this, and I want to console log what am I getting here. So cannot read property of reading update. I have no clue where I messed up, but we're gonna try to figure that out together quickly because I'm running out of time now and I've spent a lot of time trying to figure this out. I don't know why my TypeScript linter is not working because I'm trying to format everything, but it just doesn't work for whatever reason. I think this is where we're getting the error. No. Cannot read property of undefined reading update. This is a route / blogs route component, and I'll comment these two things out. What is the problem here? Post blogs some sort of error I'm running into, which is interesting. Yeah, I still have the error for my blogs route that I've created here, even though the route is very similar to post. To hide the sidebar, use the icon in the top right or press V. Oh, where's the top right icon? There's no icon in the top right. That's weird. To hide use the icon in the top right or press V. Okay. What does that mean? Or press Command V. I'll press Command V. That's weird. I never tried to close the side bar in cursor before, so that was funny. Anyways, so my post and my blogs look very much similar, to be honest. I don't really need that, but okay. This fetches something and then it returns something. This is the post component and this is the route component, which is okay. There is an outlet, which I of course don't need. This should just work, but it's not working for whatever reason. Probably because this utils is here. Let me take it out of the I'm gonna cut this from here and I'm gonna paste it here, and now we wait for the server. Now we spin up the server again. Oh no, we're still getting the same error which says that something is wrong with the route generation part. Reading update. I'm curious which part of the which part of this whole thing I did that messed up the posts. Okay, I'm gonna copy the post, paste it here in blogs also, but even then it's not working. If I just remove blogs, I'm not able to understand something, which is why is it saying that something is wrong with the route gen. So let's go to the route gen, and you and me will just what if I just remove everything here? Now I've removed everything from this, and now I'll go to the post and I'll save it so that the route regen reloads. And now if I reload, it still throws an error. Wow, that's beautiful. There's post ID, and there is I don't know which part of the code I messed up, to be honest. I did not change anything, did I? Somehow it doesn't work anymore. Let's do git clean dfx, and let's do fresh install, because something is definitely not right with the way we are working on it. and I don't remember what I did, and I don't really know what I did more than the remember. Uh, I don't want to end the stream on a note where I was trying to figure something out which I couldn't, and then I had to end the stream. I'm really running out of time now. At any moment, somebody might knock on that door and come inside. Uh, then I'm gonna have to spend more time on making a basic app using TanStack router now that I know how things work, and now that we have things set up on our local device. Um, Maybe I'll rewrite my personal portfolio in TanStack and then go from there, because that is a very simple app. It doesn't really have anything like authentication database or whatever, so it's the most simple app that you can get for yourself. And so I was hoping that if I just get that app rebuilt in this stack, I might actually, you know, might actually be helpful. So yeah, we'll do that probably. Hello blogs, can we try that one last time before I end the stream? Can we try pasting everything here and can we see if anything works? So pasting everything does work because it's kind of expected. I want to remove this part. I want to remove this part. I just want to say, hey, I am blogs. And I want to remove this part. I want to remove this part. I want to remove this part. And I want to say, okay. So that still works, which is great. Now I want to have a utils directory here. I'm assuming it's okay to have the utils directory inside of the source, but just to be safe, so this is my blogs API. It's not type safe right now. Import get blogs from blogs API. I want to see if I can call that here. I would not return anything. I'll just print the blogs on my console as I make a request. This is a hydration error which is not related to what I did, so that's okay. This is the blogs. These are like all the blogs that I'm getting on the server. Now I want to send this to client, and the way I want to do that is this, which is, I don't know if it's allowed. I guess it is, because I'm still getting some stuff. Now I want to get my post like this, and I want to console log the post on the client, which I'm able to do. Great. So I made the request on the server, got all of this stuff rendered on the client now. I don't know why it didn't work earlier when I tried to do it, but it's working right now. So this part happens on the server, as you can see, fetching post. This is a server action. Then this part happens on the client, which is great. It's kind of similar to use server or use, it was use, or was it get static props. It's very similar to get static props, which is crazy good and useful, because I can still use params. Say I'll do this and I'll be able to use params here, which is also cool because I am rendering stuff from the server, but I'm also getting the params object here. So if I do something like id equals tarat, I'm getting an object. I don't know how to read this object. Params dot, do I have to do dot or id? I don't want to do id. I don't know if I can do id. Anyways, there must be a way to use params, as long as I'm using the client side stuff here and I have a server action that runs on the server. It's great. Let's just quickly do one more thing, which is to prove that this works, user set user state any state fetch user. I don't need to do fetch user. Just take this out quickly, and I don't need to do, okay, I need to do react.useState. I'm gonna set user Tarat, and here use state any. I'm gonna do a string, empty string, and I'm gonna do, okay. So right now you see blocks Tarat. My point is this running on the server or not? I just want to make sure that this is running on the server. And the way to do that for me would be to just go into the network tab, and go to the blocks. I'll just copy this link, paste it in my Chrome, because I couldn't figure out how to disable JavaScript in that browser. JavaScript disabled, and if I reload this page, I'm no longer getting blocks Tarat. The reason why I'm not getting blocks Tarat is because this component is half rendered on the client and other half is being rendered on the server. I support this. This part was rendered on the server as a static component, and this part JavaScript is needed, client is needed, not doing any of it, so we can't. I have enabled JavaScript, and now you should see blocks Tarat, which is exactly what we want. On the element side, if I go here, let's go to the network tab, let's reload this. In this response, I want to see the response that we're getting here, and promise this would be the last thing. A lot of bullshit that I don't understand and that I don't need. Some interesting stuff, and this. Great. So this proves that we're rendering stuff on the server. Just wanted to make sure. As you can see from the server request, we are getting the empty HTML, and then the JavaScript that will run to do all the stuff that we need to do on the client side. Amazing. So much better than Next.js. I am a big fan now. I am sold. TanStack is probably the coolest thing I've seen today so far, and I just woke up a few hours ago, so but that's okay. My point being, TanStack is super cool, so much better than Next.js. I am loving it. I'm gonna rebuild my entire website, the personal portfolio that I have in TanStack, and see, and I'll compare. You know what, I'll do entire revamp of that thing in TanStack, and then I'll compare it with Next.js and see which one feels faster to not only use but also develop. And this feels like this is way more easy to do than pure Next.js, because this app that I've made in Next.js, God, there are so many crazy things that I had to do to make this work the way it does right now, and to make it super fast. And I'm happy you didn't have to do any of that in TanStack. All of that was done for you automatically. Like, I had to do some freaky stuff, to be honest. And I still couldn't figure out why the favicon keeps on re-rendering every time I renders my page. They had to use cache, by the way. And use cache, if you don't know, that's where do I, it's here, Tailwind package. Next, it's a experimental feature to make that website, the personal website that I showed you earlier, fast enough and feel instant. I had to use 3 experimental things in Next.js: partial pre-rendering, use cache, and parallel routes. The crazy thing that, yes, the website feels very fast, but I have a feeling that without using any of those things, I can still rebuild the website and it would feel, if not more than as fast as it is right now, if I do that using the TanStack router. So with that being said, I'll take out some time and rebuild the entire website, and then share the link with you guys so you can judge which one is faster, TanStack or Next.js. But yeah, I feel like I'm done with Next.js. I want to move on. I'm gonna end the stream now because I've been talking for the last 90 minutes. So thank you so much for joining, everybody. I hope you had fun, got to learn something new. Uh, Let me know if you need something from me. We have a Discord channel that is not super active, but you can find the link from the description of this video. I'll put the link in the description after the stream. Join that, connect with me if you want to talk about something. I'm here. But thank you for joining. Bye bye.